Case 1. The Ghost Blimp. Mystery, 1942, California. It was the middle of World War II when the skies above San Francisco Bay carried an eerie sight, a U.S. Navy blimp drifting silently out of control. On August 16, 1942, the blimp, designated L8, lifted off on what should have been a routine anti-submarine patrol. On board were two experienced crewmen, Lieutenant Ernest DeWitt Cody and Ensign Charles Adams. Both men were decorated, trusted, and knew the mission inside out. Hours later, the blimp floated back over land, damaged and sagging, finally crashing into the streets of Daly City. Locals rushed to the wreckage, expecting survivors, or at least bodies. But inside, the gondola was empty. The blimp's engines were running. Radios were functional. Even parachutes and life rafts were still on board. Everything was intact, except the men. Despite extensive searches, Cody and Adams were never seen again. No distress calls were made, and no evidence of struggle was found. To this day, the ghost blimp remains one of the strangest unsolved disappearances in U.S. military history. Two men vanished from the sky with no explanation. But sometimes mysteries don't begin in the air, they begin in the heart of a home. Our next case takes us to West Virginia, Christmas Eve, 1945. Case 2. The disappearance of the Sodder children, 1945, West Virginia. Christmas Eve, 1945. In the small town of Fayetteville, West Virginia, the Sodder family home was filled with laughter. George and Jenny Sodder had 10 children. That night, 5 of them went to bed upstairs after opening their presents. By morning, they would be gone forever. Around 1 a.m., a fire broke out, rapidly engulfing the house. George, Jenny, and 4 of the children managed to escape. But the 5 who had been sleeping upstairs, Maurice, Martha, Louise, Jenny, and Betty, were trapped. When the flames finally burned out, no remains were found in the rubble. Not a bone, not a trace. Experts insisted that human bones would have survived the blaze, and yet, nothing. The Sodders became convinced the children hadn't died in the fire at all. Over the years, strange clues emerged. A stranger telling George his house would go up in smoke. A ladder that mysteriously vanished during the fire. A witness who claimed to have seen the children in a passing car that night. Decades later, a photograph was mailed to the Sodders, allegedly showing their grown son, Louis, alive, somewhere out there. The case of the Sodder children remains one of the most heartbreaking, unsolved mysteries in American history. A family torn between grief and hope, never knowing the truth of what happened that Christmas Eve. 5 children vanished into the night, leaving only ashes and questions. And in another case, decades later, one child's disappearance would change the way the entire world responds to missing kids. Case 3. The murder of Amber Hagerman, 1996, Texas. On January 13, 1996, 9-year-old Amber Hagerman was riding her pink bicycle in Arlington, Texas. She was just a little girl enjoying an afternoon outside until a black pickup truck pulled up. A man jumped out, grabbed her, and drove away in broad daylight. A neighbor witnessed the abduction and called police immediately. Despite a massive search effort, Amber's body was discovered just 5 days later in a creek bed. She had been brutally murdered. Amber's case shocked the nation, not just because of the horror of her death, but because it highlighted how unprepared authorities were to respond quickly to child abductions. In the aftermath, the community rallied together. What emerged was a system designed to mobilize entire cities within minutes of a child going missing. That system is now known worldwide as the Amber Alert. Amber Hagerman's story is tragic, but her legacy has saved thousands of children's lives. Her name lives on, not only in grief, but in every phone alert, highway sign, and broadcast that helps bring another missing child home.